Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm in the car, which means I have just seen another movie. The movie that I saw today was none other than Thanksgiving, the newest horror film released featuring none other than the sexiest man alive, Patrick Dempsey. I am not joined by my co-host, DJ, and as you can see, I have the unlimited popcorn bucket, but let's just put it this way. This film's not worth it. 1 to 10, this film is a 3. This film somehow managed to be even less interesting and entertaining than It's a Wonderful Knife, and It's a Wonderful Knife is not a good film. It's just not worth going through the whole thing of getting him to actually say anything. So I'm just going to say everything that needs to be said about this film. You ready for this? Spoilers, 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 spoilers. This film is extremely predictable. I was actually 100% right about who the killer was all along, and all I had seen was the trailer maybe twice. The killer's Patrick Dempsey. Who would have thought? I did. Literally. First time I saw the trailer, I went, it's one of those slasher whodunit films where nobody knows exactly who it is. And then they showed the trailer and I went, yes, Patrick Dempsey is the killer. And guess what? Patrick Dempsey is the killer. I know. The film's just not interesting. It's not that entertaining. The dialogue is atrocious. The dialogue is really just bad. The plot sucks. The actors all kind of suck. It seems like they all came in just for the sake of getting a paycheck, and that was about it. Not a single one of the characters is actually empathetic. You can't really sympathize with any of the characters. Horrible, crazy stuff happens. The film is extremely gory, and it starts out with kind of an interesting premise because it's like, oh yeah, Black Friday happened, a whole bunch of people died, and it wasn't even Black Friday, it was Thanksgiving that it happened. A year later, all the people that were associated with this really bad, Superstore incident died. Ooh, amazing. This one's just super awful. It stars the guy from Suits who literally has a Dutch angle for her face. And what I mean by that is, I don't know what it is, but that guy, anytime he shows up on screen, you kind of want to punch him. And at the same time, you also feel extremely unsettled just by the fact that he smiles. And you're just like, you're one of those people that should never smile because you should never be on camera. But he's on camera and he collects a paycheck. All the actors collect a paycheck. I don't know how, but they did. Some of the kills are kind of interesting. There's some scary elements. They actually got a couple of jump scares in it, but overall this film is extremely dull. It's very boring. It's very predictable. It doesn't really do anything new, while at the same time it doesn't really do the things that are predictable and tropey well either. This film's just not well done. It's very bland. It's very boring. The entire time, I don't know. It's awful. And the other thing is that there's times in it where it doesn't make sense that Patrick Dempsey would be the killer, because there's literally moments where the killer is actively doing something like kidnapping kids, and Patrick Dempsey is seen outside of the school, and therefore he shouldn't be in two places at once. It really fails to do that. So this film doesn't have any good continuity. I thought it could be something that was felt a little bit like Scream. I really like the Scream movies. I like that kind of horror film. But this film literally fails in its own continuity. When you have the killer show up in two places at once and you're just supposed to have one killer, that's really poorly put together, and it really hints heavily that it's one of the kids in particular. But I knew the entire time it was going to be Patrick Dempsey. This film fails within itself. If you're going to make a whodunit kind of slasher killer thriller thing, your slasher killer really needs to be in one place at every time, and it needs to be believable that he would be able to pull off what he pulls off, and there's just parts in it that he doesn't. It's never revealed that he has a second person or a third person helping him out. And there's just some stuff that he really needs multiple people to do, so it fails its own continuity. It's dull. It doesn't have great musical moments. It doesn't have great score. It doesn't have great direction. It does very bland, simple things. This film feels like it was shot for about $50,000. I don't see how you could spend multi-million dollars on this production. There have been better films put together by YouTube teams. Anyway, this film's a waste of time. Don't bother. It's not fun. It's not interesting. It's gory, and it's got a couple of scenes that are pretty dark humor, but it could have been way better. This film had so much potential that it could have been, and should have been, at least 20, like, at minimum, if they put a little bit more effort into this film could have been like 50% better. And if it was 50% better, it still wouldn't have been great, but it would have been fun. This film is just not great. It's not fun. It's not worth your time. Don't bother. Have a nice day. See you guys in the next video.